I've been doing some test driving on her and she runs great. Real smooth, accelerates crazy hard. I would almost say too hard. The throttle, you just touch the throttle and it just rips. I might need to do some tuning on it seems almost too sensitive. But I do have a driveline rear end vibration that's hard to explain. Feel it in your butt, let's put it that way. And the higher speeds you go, the worse it gets. So yesterday I spent a bunch of time changing the angle of the rear end. I've got this cheap little angle finder I've put on the driveline. I've got a handful of different wedges that I've changed. This is the thinnest wedge. I've got stacked wedges in it right now. I've got the pinion facing up pretty hard at the moment. I've got 2 wedges in there. I've actually taken the transmission cross member and I cut it up a little bit and I dropped the transfer case down a little because I had almost no angle on the transmission. So I got over 3 degrees on the transmission coming down. It's a lot better, but it's still there. So I now have it sitting at ride height on the hoist. There's almost no weight on this rear bar. All the weight is on the axle, so I'm at ride height then here. I'm going to fire it up, put it in gear, and crawl around on it and see if I can see the vibration. Starting to wonder if I have a bent axle or something that way from the previous version. That's the only thing on the car I haven't messed with. So I'm going to fire it up here in a second and see what she does. That's at idle. That wheel looks nice and smooth. That wheel looks nice and smooth. You can take something like a jack stand and put the edge up against it without scratching my rim. Just see if that's tire to wheel. That's looking okay. Drive line. Playing with it. Okay, so at idle, don't really hear anything. So I got in it and I rev it up, and after it shifts and shifts up, and when it gets into a little bit of higher speed, you can hear the resignation, and then you can feel the whole car just start to vibrate. So now what I'm going to do is, I can't really be sitting in it and looking under it at the same time. So I've got this old self bleeder bar for like bleeding brakes. You can put pressure on it, and this little bar puts pressure on the seat. I think if I vary slightly, because that drive-by-wire throttle is very, very light, I'm going to fire it up, give it just a little bit of throttle, and hopefully not get it to over rev, get out as quick as over here, step underneath, see what I can see. I'll film something if I can, but you know, my safety is also kind of important to me, so see how this goes. Got a little more speed going. You can almost see a hump there. Can you hear it? That tire's bouncing. These tires are brand new. These wheels are brand new. You can really see it now. You can almost see that wobble more. driveline looks smooth as silk. I think we got bent axles. Look at that driveline. When I look at my tires, tires have a wobble. Look at that underneath. Can you see it? Yeah. I think I got bent axles. Yep. I have bent axles. Look at that. Those were brand new axles when I put them in this car originally. Okay. Well, we know the problem. All right, now I want to do everything from check the rotor to check the axle, put a little dial indicator, use my handy dandy battery charger to hold that so I can see what Mr. Needle does as I rotate the axle. Of course, with no tire on it. That's a big movement. So we went from, what was it, almost 70 before to 55. 55 there. 45 there. Oh, not the easiest way to do this. Back to 50. Definitely issues. Back to 48. Now at 40. All right, start pulling apart. I'm gonna pull the axle, see what I see. Got the rear pads off, and even the pads bent. Look at the cracks going on there. Crazy. I'm gonna need to find what pads these are, which goes back to I have no idea what this brake kit is, because it was something I bought years ago for this axle. I mean, it's got select ceramic on that, but doesn't tell me what size or what type it is. All right, I've got the mount kind of attached to the old brake clamp, and it's sitting about 85 there. And even if the rotor was bent, maybe the way it centers to the hub, it's not centering right. I am not sure, but it goes back to like, why would the tire go up and down when the tires are still centering, you know, center lugs to your wheels here. But let's see if I can turn this way. I was able to do it a minute ago. Use a screwdriver without gulling up my. So we're at 85. That just went up to 90 for a second, then went back down. Staying at 85. Of course, the axles. It moves when I turn it, but then it goes right back. Now I'm thinking maybe the axles are good, and I don't know, but why would the brakes rotor cause the wheel to hop? Yeah. And it was moving. Up to almost 90 there. So these pins that go through the mount that hold these brakes on, I just fought these out on this side, and they are bent like a mofo. And holy shit. damn near jump rope off of those. Which, I don't know. Starting to think that 13 years ago me was just too much of a dumbass. Didn't know what I was doing when I put this rear axle together, and either didn't put these brakes in quite right or something, because it is definitely an issue. At least that one's flat. I guess I was prying on that other one just to get it to come apart. Maybe that's what the problem was. God, it's been ground here. Or did I grind that tab off when I put it in, when I put these in? It's been a minute. I don't remember. I don't know. I don't know, Margot. Name that movie. All right, well, I don't know. Maybe it's just this brake setup putting pressure on this rear end funky, and so the rotor's bent, but the rotor doesn't seem bent, but it would definitely cause the wheel to have an issue. But I still think I'm going to take these axles off and find out if there is a problem with the axles. Pull them, maybe take them to someone with a machine shop with a lathe that can check them. And I've got a lathe over there in the corner, but to be honest, I don't really know even how to use it. I bought it. It's kind of fun. I want to learn how to use it, make stuff, but I couldn't get on it right now and fire it up for any purpose. So let's see if I find anything else. So I threw an axle up on the lathe, and I just put my little bit up here, and as it was turning, you can see where it was nicking there and missing there, and which means there's a hop in that axle. So if I turn that on, I can bring this in till it just touches. I can go to a different spot here. I'll even bring it down closer to the end, so make sure I don't hit my bearing. And I'm just going to get that till it just touches. And you can hear it making that sound. Turn it off. And I'll back this off, turn it by hand. And you can see a complete mess right through there. And you can see on the other side where, you know, there's this huge gap from that line all the way to that line. And you can see, like, yeah, when they turned it here and then worked it this way, you know, how even it is. And then, you know, this is raw steel to here. So maybe it's not to that. So I'm going to turn and try to get more on this mounting flange and up in here. And then I'm going to check the other axle. But even watching it turn, it doesn't quite eyeball look straight. If you turn it, good thing. Look at the rag. You can see the rag bouncing on the lathe. So I say that's bent. It's probably one of my vibration problems I've had since version 1 of the car. Like I said, I was chasing axle or chasing a vibration on it before it blew up. So let's go pull this other axle. I've already kind of have it yanked out and loose. So we'll pull this one off and take a look at it. And well, that spline does not go in very far at all, does it? And I don't nick those threads up. Let's throw that on the lathe and see if that one hobbles and wobbles. All right, so I re-rigged it up so it's right on the outside edge. And you can see where I'm just putting a little groove in that. Push that in just a little bit. Back it off. Turn it off. And right there you can see it. Right there, there's nothing. If you look right through here, right through there, there's absolutely no line. Bring it around. There's the line. See the shiny line? Run. Gap, no line. So 100%, there it is. Bent axle. Now I need to decide if I'm going to buy axles or if I can have these axles straightened. And go from there. Bummer of a birthmark. Shit. Here's the passenger side axle. Let's see what we get. Seems to be bouncing even more, even visually. Still don't understand. These are brand new axles and a tube when I built this car a few years ago. I don't even understand how they could be bent. And I am not trying to cut, I am literally just trying to leave a mark. I see the line. Don't see a line. How's this other one? That looked like it actually cut a nice line all the way around. Let's go down here and kind of the black part of the... This also goes back where it hasn't been turned. You can see like where they turn it and then they don't turn it. And you feel this, it's all uneven. But... no line, line, no line, line. Well, I'm going to go back out here and get on the outside of this axle up here where it's part of that tube. Alright. Line, no line, so there's the big gap there, so that means the axle's hopping and wobbling. How? And that car only had a few thousand miles on it with the axles that were in it. That was a brand new housing, brand new differential, all put together 13 some years ago. This has a bent housing, and the old motor wasn't making the power that this new motor is going to be making. So, all right. Well, I think that's where I'm going to end it. It was lots of fun driving the other day. Yesterday I took it for a couple drives. You can do a donut and rip it around pretty dang quick. It runs hard, but yeah, you get it much over 60, 65, and just there's a hum and vibration. And like we just saw when it was running on the lift here, you can see those tires hopping. So, and I've had those wheels and tires checked and balanced, and they're brand new rims and brand new tires. But I even had them rebalanced and checked because, you know, trying to eliminate everything. And that is where we are at. So I will get on the computer and play online and make some measurements and see if I'm going to buy new axles or if I can have these straightened or what I want to do. I think I might end up going with a completely different brake system too, because I honestly don't even know what this is, where I got it, the way those rods were bent, trying to force them in there. I might not have gotten this bracket square enough. Might end up cutting all this off and just going with all new something. And I think that's part of my braking problem that I was even having before. The rear brakes were never that great, but you want the majority to be the front anyways, and blah, blah, blah. But I think I'll end it there. She is a pretty car. I want her on the road, damn it. Late.